I'm still hearing a lot of dingings, people coming in, so I'm going to wait a minute or two before I actually start, if that's okay.
It occurred to me the other platform was still holding on to my camera.
Okay, I haven't heard any dinging, so hopefully most of the people have gotten on. So before we get started on this platform, I would like to make sure that everybody puts themselves on mute, and if you haven't already done so. In addition, we ask that you make sure that your full name is appearing, and you can change your name by clicking on the 3 dots next to your video box and choose rename. And that's for the purpose of making sure that we have your name when we do moving and seconding. If during the meeting you experience any technical difficulties, please try logging out and then logging back in to refresh your screen. Alternatively, you can email info@engineersfoundation.ca or text Saskia at 416-200-2102. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, I'd like to officially start the 2021 Annual General Meeting. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank you for making the time to attend our 2021 Annual General Meeting, particularly because many of you spend a lot of time in front of your computer screen these days and spend a lot of time participating in video calls. That being said, I hope that you enjoyed the virtual networking that took place just before the AGM. And I do hope that next year we're able to meet in person. So the notice of meeting was sent out to all members on May the 12th, and it is important to note that we have the authority to conduct today's meeting virtually. Due to the pandemic, the Government of Ontario has given corporations a temporary amendment to allow director and shareholders meetings to be held electronically. As we're in a virtual environment, there is a few things that you have to remember. As I noted earlier, everyone should be on mute except for the speaker. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask or make a comment, please use the raised hand feature. When called upon to ask your question or make a comment, please unmute yourself, turn on your camera, and introduce yourself. Alternatively, you can text or you can message Arthur Sinclair privately through the chat feature with any questions or comments, and they will be relayed to the chair. Motions will be presented on the screen, and I will ask that if you would like to move or second a motion, you use the chat feature and just type in "I move" or "I second," and we'll see who the fast typers are. Remember, we asked that you change your screen name earlier, and we did that because your screen name will appear in the chat. And it's another reason to make sure that we have the right person's name for the approval of the motions. The voting for the motions will be done through a polling feature on Zoom. Remember, only the members are allowed to vote on motions. If you're not a member, please do not respond to the poll. And right now we're going to try out the polling feature with a test motion. Are you ready? So the test motion is going to come up on the screen. Be it resolved that actor Rowan Atkinson, also known as Mr. Bean, be accepted as an honorary member of our foundation. Could I have a mover and a seconder?
I see Sandra as our motioner. Do we have a second for this ridiculous motion? And Bob Tony seconds.
Okay, so Sandra is moving and Bob Doney is seconding. Is there any discussion on this?
Are we going through full rules of order on this thing?
No.
Because we're going to accidentally make him a member if we at this rate.
So hearing that we have no discussion, I will call for the vote. The vote's in front of you right now.
Sorry, I launched too soon. I was too quick.
Okay, and there's 30 seconds for you to vote. And Saskia will tell us when you have 10 seconds left.
Please vote no, because I think otherwise it's technically that we've done it. We can go a little bit faster on this one, Saskia. And since I'm supposed to take the role of the secretariat, remember only members. Oh man, now we're gonna have to undo this next year.
No, we don't. Since we don't have an honorary membership class, unfortunately, we can't make Mr. Bean a member of the foundation, even though he did do an undergraduate degree and has a master's degree in electrical engineering from Oxford University. A little known piece of trivia for you today. Okay, so we will not have to undo that one, Arthur. Okay, so I can confirm that we do have quorum as per our bylaws and that this meeting is properly constituted. So we will go ahead with the agenda. The agenda was included in the meeting package that was sent on May the 12th. Does anybody have any additional items that they would like to add under new business at this time? And you can add that by putting it in the chat or raising your hand. Is there anything showing up on the screen, Art?
No, Sue, I see nothing in the chat. So
okay, so this is our first official motion. Should be up on the screen. Can we get the motion up on the screen? There we go. Be it resolved that the agenda be approved. And now can we get a mover and a seconder for the agenda?
I see we have a mover as Jonathan Hack and Cengiz Zader is a second.
Thank you very much, Jonathan and Cengiz. And now can we put the poll up? And again, you have 30 seconds from when she puts the poll up. Val told me that 30 seconds felt like a really long time, and it does.
I'm going to end the poll.
Okay. 100% in favor of the approved. Thank you very much, everybody. So we will move forward. Sorry. So we're going to move forward with the agenda, and the motion is carried. So the next item of business is the approval of the 2020 minutes. And like the agenda, the 2020 AGM minutes were circulated on May the 12th. And the next motion is up on the screen now. Be it resolved that the minutes of the last meeting of the members held on June 29th, 2020 be approved as presented. And Arthur, if you can look for a mover and a seconder of this motion.
We have Valerie Mueller as the mover and the seconder is Ashley Gismondi.
Thank you very much, Val and Ashley. Is there any questions, errors, or omissions to the meeting minutes from last year's AGM. So again, for that, you can either raise your hand or send a message to Art Sinclair. And Art, I'm just giving people a few minutes in case they're typing. Is there any hands up or any anybody in the chat?
Seeing none.
See none? Okay, thank you. So be it resolved that the minutes from the, oh, sorry. Now we're going to go for the vote.
Okay, I'm going to close the polling now.
Okay. 100% in favor of the minutes from last year. Thank you very much, everybody. And the motion is carried. And now I would like to turn things over to Jonathan Hack, the treasurer of the foundation, to give his report.
Thank you very much, Sue. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Jonathan Hack, and I'm a graduate of McMaster University, where I took the engineering and management program. Who knew that so many years after I would graduate that I would have to use my financial accounting courses and some of that for the work of the foundation. But it's an honor to be here tonight and to give you just a quick report of the finances of the foundation. So on the next slide, you will see that the 2020 financial statements were included as part of the meeting package that was sent out to all members on May the 12th as part of the annual report. What's important for you as members is to understand the process that we went through for the audit plan. So we engaged the auditors, and the auditors were Chaplin & Co., and they were the auditors last year as well. They were notified in late January by the treasurer, myself, concerning the timing of when the books would be made available to them. We were targeting to have the books made available to them on the first week of March of 2021. So I worked with Javier, who's our administrator, and Carmen, who's our bookkeeper, and we developed a work back plan on all of the elements that were required. The books did get to the auditors as scheduled on the first week of March of 2021. The audit itself was completed by April 1st, and we do have a letter that came back from Chaplin & Co. that stated the following. Number one, no modifications were made to the audit plan. No difficulties were encountered during the audit. The accounting policies used by the foundation are in accordance with Canadian accounting standards for not-for-profit organizations, which is what we are. There were no significant unusual transactions, no significant deficiencies in terms of internal control measures, and no major disagreements with management were encountered at any point during the audit process. So that's very important. It was a very collaborative audit process that we went through again this year. Next slide, please. So in terms of, I want to just first thank Val Mueller and Saskia for their work on these charts. I didn't do these lovely pie charts myself, but really appreciate the work that went into this. So the income statement provides information on whether the foundation operated at a surplus for the year in question. And I am very pleased to report that we did. Typically, not-for-profit charities cannot plan to continuously run at a large surplus. But for 2020, we benefited from a very healthy stream of revenues from our investments. So the investment account earned $416,000 in terms of returns. A lot of this was due to investment timing. We did have the resolution of an estate that entered into our investment account, and we timed that that investment just perfectly in terms of the market timing and when COVID hit and those sorts of things. So we did very, very well on our investments. The foundation has a primary mandate of disbursement of funds for engineering scholarships, which includes annual undergraduate scholarships and entrance scholarships. And it was just great to hear from so many recipients of those scholarships today in the previous session. So our scholarship expense for the year was $153,000. And you can see it divided up there in terms of some of our costs for administration, secretarial services, but also the entrance scholarships of $45,000 and undergraduate scholarships of $108,000 for a grand total of $153,000 for the year. So the next slide, please. Now, for the year in question, the foundation recognized a surplus of $276,000 in fiscal year 2020. That funding now gets transferred over to our balance sheet in the form of an increased balance of $276,000 in net assets for the end of the fiscal year. The next slide. Now, if you've gone through financial accounting, the typical statement used for the balance sheet is assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity. And for not-for-profit organizations, the net assets represent the owner's equity part of the equation. So the surplus, the operating surplus of $276,000 serves to increase the unrestricted net assets to $3,538,103 as of December 31st of 2020. So a very healthy position overall for the foundation. The next slide, please. So the last slide that I really want to speak to here tonight focuses on the statement of cash flows. And if you don't have enough liquidity as an organization, you can run into trouble. You will see that there is quite a difference between our year-end liquidity position in 2019 versus what we had in a year-end liquidity position in 2020. That is solely due to the fact that we were resolving a very large donation to the foundation at the end of 2019. So we had revenues or cash and near cash instruments on hand of over $1 million. That is very, very unusual. So cash and near cash instruments at the end of 2020 is more to a reasonable level. And that's why I really wanted to highlight the difference there. There's really nothing to be concerned about. If we do require cash disbursements for scholarships, what we do as a foundation is we have that scheduled at different periods throughout the year. And we will work with our administration team to determine when those disbursements are going to occur. And then we'll ensure with our investment company that we have that in our current account so that we can distribute the scholarships on schedule as we desire. So that's it for the financial report. I'll open it up for any questions. If you could raise your hand or send a private message chat or open chat to Art Sinclair. If there are any questions, I'll entertain those now. Now I can't see the screen, but I'm not seeing anything in the chat. Art, is there anything?
No, nothing in the chat. Let me just verify a couple things. So, any questions?
Okay, if we could move then to the next slide. What I would like to do is extend a motion for the appointment of auditors. Be it resolved that Chaplin & Co. Chartered Accountants be appointed as auditor for the Ontario Professional Engineers Foundation for Education for the fiscal year 2021. I see a mover of Valerie Mueller. And do we have somebody to second that? See Sandra Osma seconding it. Thanks so much. Now, just as an explanation here, what we do to ensure that we're getting the best value for the money as a foundation is we use auditors for a period of time, and then we go out for an RFP. The plan for the foundation is that we will go out for an RFP this year, but that will be to appoint the auditors for the 2022 fiscal year. So with that explanation, I'll ask if Saskia can put the motion for voting on the screen, please.
I'll give it another 5 seconds.
Okay, excellent. Thanks so much, everybody. And I believe that closes off my time.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. Before I begin my president's report, I want to remind you that I will take questions at the end. So please raise your hand and use that feature, as well as sending a private message to Arthur if you have any questions during the course of my presentation. When I took over from Marissa Sterling as president after the AGM in 2019, the foundation started to use a combination of in-person and virtual meetings to minimize the requirement and cost of travel, as I am from Northern Ontario. And as a foundation, one of our goals is to minimize our costs. So having me travel to Toronto for every meeting would have been quite costly. So we started to use virtual meetings. Little did we know, this actually worked in our favor, and the board went fully virtual without missing a beat when we found ourselves in the midst of our global pandemic in the spring of 2020. While not without its bumps, I'm proud of the way that the foundation adapted to the times. We held our first virtual AGM last year. Our administrator worked from home, like most people here, and all of the scholarship funds were transferred to the schools for the 2020-2021 school term. Were done electronically because getting us to sign checks became a challenge, just to get people to get the checks signed. So we managed to change that all to virtual transfers. And we did get all of our entrance and graduate scholarships awarded. 102 deserving students received the much needed support in 2020. So unfortunately, no gold medal winners received their awards in person, as there was no convocation ceremonies to attend. All medalists received their awards through snail mail. Not ideal, but it was the best that we could do. And I think it was still, we sent a nice letter, and they received their medals in the mail. As announced at our 2020 AGM, Conestoga College became the first Ontario college to be accredited by the Canadian Engineering Accreditation Board, making it the 16th member of our scholarship family. Conestoga College will receive their first scholarships and gold medals in 2021. You've already heard from Jonathan Hack, our treasurer, and I'd like to thank him and his team for continuing to keep on top of our finances and investments, which was a little bit more complicated because of the volatility of the year. Our foundation team, led by Marta Eschetti, also had a very busy year. The team looked at new ways of fundraising and growing the foundation membership. I'm pleased to report that the board has approved 4 new members last week. Even though donations were down in 2020, I feel strongly that the team's work and their many ideas to grow the membership and donations will bring fruit in future years. Director Bejul Shukla reinstated the Communications Committee at the end of 2020. We had not had a Communications Committee since the departure of one of our directors, I think in 2018, so it had been a couple of years. And he identified a number of goals and deliverables for 2021, including working with a team from Centennial College to provide us with a new website design and a social media communications plan to expand our reach and network. We are looking forward to unveiling a new website in the next month or so too, and becoming more active on social media. There is also another area that we made a lot of progress in over the past year. Led by Valeria Mueller, the chair of our governance committee, we have developed a new, more transparent board nomination plan that will help us diversify and strengthen our board of directors in future years. The new board nominations process will be approved and in place for the 2022 Board of Directors election. A call out to the entire membership base will be part of the new nomination process, giving all of our members a chance to serve on the foundation if they're interested. We have also implemented a process for our annual general meeting to ensure that you, the members, are provided with information in a timely manner. This year, all the information was emailed and posted on our website well in advance of this meeting. We also completed a review of our membership criteria and discussed the need to open the membership to a wider engineering community. We currently have 26 members out of a full complement of 100 potential members from past and current directors, counselors, and current staff of PEO and OSPE, as well as PEO chapter representatives and gold medal winners, even after an extensive email campaign in the last several months to recruit new members. Everyone who proudly wears the iron ring is a member of the Professional Engineers Ontario or the Ontario Society of Professional Engineers and is interested in the goals of the foundation should have the opportunity to give back to the next generation of engineers. Tonight, you will be voting on a bylaw change to ensure that we are able to grow the foundation membership. By opening our membership criteria, we give individuals, in some cases who have been donating to the foundation, the opportunity to be included as part of the foundation membership. Although not proclaimed, ONCA, or the Ontario Not-for-Profit Corporations Act 2010, will replace the Ontario Corporations Act when it comes into force. When it does, we will be ready. We have had our bylaws reviewed by lawyers to ensure that we will be in compliance with the new Ontario Not-for-Profit Corporation Act once it is proclaimed. We worked to ensure that our board of directors receive proper governance training and are made aware of their duties and liabilities. And with that, we now have in place our own directors and officers liability insurance. In the past, we relied on PEO for that service, and now we have it on our own. We also have put in place cybersecurity insurance because of our online presence. Just last month, the foundation sent out our new 5-year agreements to our 16 family members, which are the universities and now Conestoga College. The new agreements have language to include more diversity, Black, Indigenous, and people of color in the scholarship awardees, and limits the scholarships from being granted to students already receiving more than $10,000 from other scholarship sources. Over the next few months, we expect to get the signed agreements back, allowing us to continue to do our important work in the future. I believe that virtual meetings are here to stay, even after the pandemic is in the rearview mirror. Virtual meetings provide an excellent opportunity for participation from engineers from around the province to be actively involved in the foundation. As always, I would like to thank our members who have supported the foundation year after year by donating, and I hope that I can count on you to support the foundation as ambassadors. As members, we remind you to promote the foundation with your colleagues and network whenever you can. Once the pandemic ends, we will be looking for volunteers from different regions of Ontario to represent the foundation at scholarship and gold medal presentations, and I hope that I can count on you. In closing, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to my fellow directors for their commitment and continued support, as well as the foundation staff. My role as president was made significantly easier by all of these individuals. Thank you. Is there any questions? Again, please raise your hand or send your private message to Art Sinclair. Art, are you seeing any hands?
All right, folks, let's not be shy. Anybody have a question for Sue, or this is pretty much, after this, we're hitting a bunch of bylaw changes that we have to ratify. But other than that, it's been a difficult year, so it's worth asking.
Okay, if there's no questions.
What makes the minutes easy? Oh, wait, Changiz is up. I see a hand.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that presentation, Sue. My question is, I am a member and I have been a member for a long time, but it seems like that I'm not getting all the communications from the foundation, and I'm receiving only the AGM notices, or from time to time requests for donation. Even May 12th, you mentioned, or someone mentioned on May 12th, the documents for the AGM were sent. I did not receive that one. And also, I have never seen any communications about the members of board selection, nomination, or anything. So it looks like that I'm not getting all the communication, and I'm not sure if that's only me or there are some issues with the communications.
I'm not sure if it's a question of the email addresses or what is happening. I know that we got quite a bit of information back from people for the meeting. So I think that the communication went out to most of the members. We can check on yours, and specifically Chandi's. Now this year there wasn't a lot of requests for help because we did not have any presentations or any a scholarship or gold medal presentations to do, and that's usually where we have most of our requests for participation help, because sometimes there could be several presentations going on simultaneously or close to the same time. So that's where we really ask for help from our members. So
Okay.
we will make
Thank
sure
you.
that
I don't think the issue is the email, because I'm receiving the AGM email, but
okay.
generally speaking. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Is there anything else?
Should we give a last call for questions? All right.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the bylaw changes. So over to you, Val.
Great. Thank you, Sue. Good evening. My name is Valeria Mueller, and while I am the chair of the Foundation's Governance Committee, by day I am the Director of Operations for the Ontario Society of Professional Engineers, OSPE, a role which I have held for 19 years. As President Tessier noted in her remarks, the Foundation Board has completed a review of our membership criteria and discussed the need to open the membership to the engineering community, as we need to ensure that we are being inclusive and diverse. In your meeting package, the motions being put forward tonight included a number of bylaw changes. I think the first bylaw change is self-explanatory. Regarding the second bylaw change, you may be asking yourself, why OSPE associate members? OSPE associate members are engineering graduates, often newcomers to Canada. They know the value of having an engineering degree, and they know the demands and the hard work it takes to complete that degree. By joining OSPE, many associate members are taking that first step to obtaining their PEng license. They're looking to belong to a community of engineers, they're looking to be part of the solution, and they are looking to give back. There are many individuals who donate funds to the Foundation to help support students in their path to their degree and licensure. And those individuals do not necessarily have a PEng license for one reason or another. But whether or not you decided to go to the route of licensure, you are bonded together by the hard work and dedication it took to obtain that engineering degree. Many engineering graduates, licensed or not, did not go into the career or practice of engineering. They are marketers, lawyers, financiers, IT technical leaders, and that varied experience is valuable for a membership and is valuable for a board. With respect to bylaw change to 16B, subsection 3, the Foundation keeps its administrative costs down by only having a part-time staff person and student interns, so that as much of the funding that comes in from donations can go directly to the students. This makes the Foundation Board more of a working board, and having qualified, competent members is paramount to the success of the Foundation. Currently, the staff of both PEO and OSPE are eligible to be members of the Foundation. Staff members of both organizations have dedicated their careers to the engineering community, and whether you are on the regulatory side or the advocacy and member services side, you are intricately involved in the needs of the profession and the needs of the engineer. Staff members offer a wide range of skills that can be called upon, whether that be marketing, communications, finance, or in my case, governance and administration. I believe those two bylaw changes required some context before we started. The 6 proposed bylaw motions open the membership up to not only current and past members of Council of PO and the OSPE board, but to the engineering community. We are also making some housekeeping changes so that the bylaws are a little more clear and concise. It should also be noted that we're removing 16C as it is a mechanism and not necessarily a bylaw. The wording of all motions can be found in your HM package and will be displayed on the screen. A reminder that only members of the Foundation may vote for bylaw changes. So we will now begin with the first of the 6 bylaw amendments. If we could have the motion on the screen. Be it resolved that bylaw number 1, 16B, subsection 1, will now read, all persons who hold a PEng license from Professional Engineers Ontario, PEO, and who have demonstrated an interest in the objects of the corporation. So we have removed it to be council and staff of PEO, and now it's open to all professional engineers in Ontario. So can I please have a member from the Foundation move? So I see that Shangiz and Marta second the motion.
Well, if we're going in order of operations, I believe I saw Changi Satter first, seconded by Bob Doney.
Okay, perfect. Okay, are there any questions, errors, or admissions? Do we have any, Arthur?
Monitoring the chat and no hands up, so I will, and there seems to be no questions.
Perfect. So hearing none, I will call for the vote. If we can have the poll.
I'll give it a few more seconds and then I'll close the poll.
Wonderful, thank you. The second bylaw motion, if we could have that up on the screen. So the second bylaw motion, if we could, thank you. So be it resolved that the bylaw number 1, 16B, subsection 2 will now read, all persons are either professional or associate members in good standing of the Ontario Society of Professional Engineers, OSPE, and who have demonstrated an interest in the objects of the corporation. Can I have a mover, please?
I see Jonathan Hack as the mover and Changi Setter as the seconder.
Thank you. Are there any questions, errors, or omissions?
I see none within the chat and no hands up.
Thank you. Can we have the poll then, please? And we can vote. Thank you.
Give it another few seconds and I'll close the poll.
Wonderful, thank you. On the screen should now be our third bylaw change. If we could move to the next bylaw change. Be it resolved that bylaw number 1, 16B, subsection 3 will now read, all persons who are current staff members of either Professional Engineers Ontario, PO, or the Ontario Society of Professional Engineers, OSPE, and who have demonstrated an interest in the objects of the corporation. May I have a mover, please?
I see Sandra Osma as the mover and Shelley Daitner as the seconder.
Wonderful. Are there any questions, errors, or omissions?
I see no hands up and no questions within the chat.
Wonderful. Hearing none, I will call for the vote.
Another few seconds. Okay, closing the poll.
Wonderful. Motion carried. So we are halfway there. Our fourth bylaw change, as outlined earlier, is a mechanism, and we're moving this from the bylaws, removing it. Be it resolved that bylaw number 1, 16C, will be removed. Can I have a mover, please?
And Jonathan Hack is moving, and I will take the second that I saw, which is I'll take Bejul as seconder.
Great. Are there any questions, errors, or omissions?
I see none within the chat and no hands up.
Wonderful. So hearing none, I will call for the vote.
I'll give it another few seconds and I'll close the poll. Thank you.
Motion carried. Thank you. So with the removal of section C that we just voted on, the next motion simply changes the clause number. This motion is housekeeping. Be it resolved that bylaw number 1, 16D, will now become 16C. I have a mover, please.
All right, looking within the chat, we have, I think I see Mark Frayne as the mover and Changi Setter as the seconder.
Are there any questions, errors, or omissions?
I see no hands up, and monitoring the chat, no questions within the chat.
Okay, so hearing none, I call for the vote.
Okay, I will close the poll.
Wonderful, motion carried. Our sixth and final bylaw change for tonight. Be it resolved that bylaw number 1, 16E will now be 16D and will read, the membership of the corporation at any one time shall have limited to 100 up to 50 individuals shall hold either a PH license from Professional Engineers Ontario, PO, be a current professional associate member of the Ontario Society of Professional Engineers, OSPE, or be a current staff member of Professional Engineers Ontario. That was the change right there. The rest of it stays the same. Can I have a mover, please?
All right, on this one, where was I? I see Bejul Shukla is the first on the to the type onto his keyboard on the mover, and Maria and Antoine as the seconder.
Wonderful. Are there any questions, errors, or omissions?
I'm monitoring the no hands up, and I see nope, nothing in the chat.
Wonderful. So hearing none, I will call for a vote.
Okay, a few more seconds and I'll close the poll. Thank you.
Motion is carried. Thank you all.
And,
And
can I jump in there with a point of order? I had to, somebody brought this up to my attention, and I appreciate that. I have not, it's a purely administrative. Because I don't want to make this a mistake. I had a mover and second member who's unfortunately not currently on the roster of membership. So I need to, and that would have.
It's okay, Mark. It's okay, Arthur. I've got that one.
All righty. No problem, Mark. It's all good.
I've noted that.
thank you.
And that, but I'm sorry, but then that motion is not valid.
I think we had another person move and second that motion as well, though, didn't we, Saskia?
Yeah, it would be Changzi had moved and Maria had seconded.
So we had several people move and second the motion.
Okay, just would have liked to have that caught beforehand.
Thank you for catching that, Marta.
Okay. So thank you very much. And I now call back to the virtual platform, President Tessier.
Thank you very much for going through all that detail of the bylaws. I appreciate that, Val. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I would like to take an opportunity to acknowledge the 2020-2021 Board of Directors. And you see their pictures here. Some of you have probably met them at the tables today and know them from elsewhere, but I just wanted to go through them. Myself as president, Sue Tessier, Arthur Sinclair as vice president, Jonathan Hack as treasurer, Maria Iannoni as our secretary, Marissa Sterling as the past president, Sandra Ozma as a director, Marta Eschetti as the director, Ashley Gismondi as a director, Valeria Mueller as a director as well, and Bejul Shukla as another director. So that is the current board. And after 2 years as the foundation president, I will be stepping down from the role on June the 9th, when the board meets to choose their new executive. I will still be on the board as the past president to support the new president. We have a strong board, and I know that the new president will be able to continue to move the foundation forward with new ideas and leadership. I just want to make everybody aware. And I would like to thank Maria Iannoni, as she is stepping down from the foundation board at the conclusion of this AGM. Maria has served on the board since 2015, serving as a director for the first 4 years and as board secretary for the past 2 years. Maria will be staying on as a member of the foundation and will continue to volunteer on the fundraising committee. In addition, I would like to thank Marissa Sterling for her time and assistance as past president during my time as president. Marissa has been on the foundation board since 2007 and an invaluable resource during this time. She will remain as a member of the foundation as well. So please join me in giving these two women a wonderful round of applause. So as mentioned earlier, we are creating a formal nominations process for the election of our board of directors, which will be implemented next year. Included in this process will be a call to the entire membership for directors or potential directors. Before we implement the new nomination process, we wanted to work to change the current bylaw to open up the membership to the entire engineering community and thereby having the ability to increase our membership base. We are looking to have in place staggered terms so that the board turnover is no more than 1/3 of the board each year. And currently, when we elect a new director, it's for a 3-year term. So is there any questions at this point before we get into the election of the directors? Do you see anything, Arthur?
I am seeing nothing within the I see no questions within the chat.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so for the 2021 board, 2021-2022 board, sorry, we have 2 members to put forward to join the board of directors. One position is as the result of Maria Iannoni leaving the board, and one position is to fill the gold medal director position for the first time ever. The first individual on the slate is Rejeanne Amy. Rejeanne's bio was included with the meeting package, but I'll give you a few highlights. Rejeanne is a professional engineer with extensive experience in the automotive, nuclear, and tax consulting industries in Ontario. She holds an MBA and is an alumna of the University of Western Ontario and a strong advocate for STEAM. A tireless volunteer, she is currently past president of OSPI, OSPI's current representative at the CNE Association, and has served as OSPI's treasurer. She is also a founding director at the newly formed Black Engineers of Canada. So if we can get the motion, thank you. The motion is, be it resolved that Rejeanne Amy, PN, be appointed as director of the foundation board for a 3-year term.
And I have a mover as Jonathan Hack and seconder Valerie Mueller.
Is there any discussions with this motion?
I'm seeing no hands up and no questions within the chat.
Thank you very much, Arthur. Hearing none, I will call for the vote.
Okay, I'll close the poll now.
That's, the motion is carried, so thank you very much. And the next individual on the slate is Nicholas Zanier. Nicholas is a 2020 gold medal winner from Laurentian University and the first gold medal member of the foundation. I would like to note that the bylaws allow for one gold medalist to sit on the board of directors. We have never had a member who was a gold medal winner until now. As we have stressed a few times tonight, we are looking for a more diverse board moving forward, and diversity also means diversity of thought. I think Nicholas's perspective as a new graduate, a young professional who is pursuing licensing, will challenge us, many of us who, shall we say, are more experienced. I have already noted that Nicholas graduated from Laurentian University last year. His degree is in chemical engineering with a minor in biochemistry. He is fluently bilingual and proficient in numerous programming languages, as well as many computer applications. Just that alone. He will help us out tremendously. Nicholas is currently working for XPS, Expert Process Solutions in Sudbury. He is passionate about process innovation, design, and optimization, and looks forward to a rewarding career in engineering. He's currently in the process of, he has applied to become an engineering intern with PEO. So the motion is up. Be it resolved that Nicholas Zanier, a 2020 gold medal recipient, be appointed as director of the foundation for a 3-year term. If we could
So
get
I
a
have
mover and a seconder.
I see. Okay, so Bejul Shukla was the mover and Bob Doney is a seconder. And I do have one question in the chat from Changiz, who is asking, how were Rejani and Nick nominated for the board?
This year, we didn't have a nomination procedure, so we formed the executive committee, met and looked at our current list of members, and we looked for somebody who would fit the requirements of the board, and we made a list of those who would fit. Obviously, Nicholas was the only gold medal winner, so he was the only one from that category. And we had 3 potential board members or potential members from the list. Rejane was the first that we approached and she accepted, so we never got to the second and third, but that's the process that we used this year. So we used our list of members and we looked for the type of requirements that we would need. I hope that answers your question, Changiz.
Yes, thank you.
And I do have one other question in the chat. This one's from Marissa Sterling, and she was asking if you can clarify whether or not Nick is currently a member.
Yes, he is. He was voted in at our last board meeting, along with 3 other members, new members.
And you know what, I'm going to ad lib ever so slightly because this question did come up, which I just answered directly. But how does one become a member?
There's an application form. We actually did try to reach out to many people that we knew, but there's an application form on the website, and that can be submitted, and the board then goes through the applications and would get back to the people that are accepted as board members.
Thank you. And I will make one last call for questions. Any raised hands? And I'm seeing none within the chat. No.
Okay, I said board members, but just that's members, not board members. Sorry about that. Okay, so there was no other questions, so I guess we can call for a vote.
Okay, I'll close the poll.
Perfect. So the motion is carried. I'd like to congratulate both Rejan and Nicholas as they join our board. So the next item on the agenda was member questions. So I know we've asked for questions throughout, but if there is any additional questions, we can field them here.
So,
You're not seeing anything?
wait, I was just making sure all the applause emojis were disappearing because I don't want to confuse those for hands up. All right, last call for questions. Any hands up or anything within the, and I'm seeing none within the chat.
Okay, we'll move along to the next item on the agenda, which is new business. There wasn't anything brought up earlier. Is there anything that somebody would like to bring up at this point in the meeting after the rest of the discussions?
And again, I'll call last call for hand. I'm seeing no hands up. Outside of all the congratulations to Rejan and Nick, I'm not seeing anything within the chat.
Okay, thank you very much with that. And this is probably the best part of the meeting for everybody, especially after a long day. And it's our last motion. I just want to, before I do this, I really want to thank all of the people that put together this AGM. So we've had Saskia, who put together all of our scripts, and I mean, I probably can't even mention everybody. Javier, who's been dealing with the slides. So we have a lot of people that have helped, and I really want to thank everybody that was involved, including those who came to the meeting. So we're almost there, and I thank you for your participation tonight. And I have that one final motion. Be it resolved that the members of the foundation approve to adjourn the 2021 annual general meeting. Could I have a mover and a seconder?
Well, so I'm not going, the very enthusiastic moving in second and came before the motion was tabled. So I am not going to accept those. And instead I will go to Bejul Sukla and Valerie Mueller as first and seconder.
Thank you very much. Is there any other questions before we go to a vote? Okay, let's put the vote up.
Fastest vote ever. Ending the poll.
Now this is a really long 30 seconds.
So the motion is carried. Thank you very much. Thank you all for attending. Please stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you in 2022 for an in-person AGM. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed that that's an actual fact. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sue. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks,
Take care.
everyone.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Who do we have left on the, oh, we still have a few, eh? I just wanted to thank everybody before, thanks for your participation and everything. It was a great AGM.
Nice job, Sue. And Art, really nice job on the motions. And Saskia, great job keeping it moving as well. Nice job, everyone.
Well, Javier kept the slides going, so I was very happy that he was doing that. I just had to do the polls.
No, I appreciate everybody's involvement, and I thank you very much. Rejan, welcome to the new board of directors for 2021-22. Well,
Thank you, Sue.
You're here until the 2024, I think. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You are welcome. It's hard to imagine 2024
Yeah.
in 2021, but I'll be here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sue, we finished in good time.
I know, I saw that just after 8 o'clock, which was excellent. I thought it was going to go till about 8:30, but Val really got those motions flying, because that's where I figured it was going to take a longer period of time. So I have to thank Val for getting the wording and dealing with some of the issues, I think, before we had questions.
Mhm. Yeah, no, it was good, because I was thinking, wow, we're going to make it just in that hour.
Perfect. No, that's great. Thank you very much, Saskia, for your help through all this here. And hopefully you'll get some well-deserved rest in the next little bit.
Yeah, I think we all will. And hopefully you haven't gone over with your data in for
yeah.
all these video calls.
No, I think I'll have to check that tomorrow morning. It doesn't show up until the next day, so then I'll find out where I am. But it would have slowed right down if I hadn't had enough data. So that, no, everything was fine. So that's perfect. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
Okay.
I was just going to say, really good session beforehand too with the students, the informal networking. That was outstanding. Really well done.
Okay,
Yeah,
glad you enjoyed that. Yeah.
No, I thought that was excellent, and I think that can be expanded next year to include more schools. And like, I'm sure we would fill up the room, but you have to be careful that there's enough professionals to go around and keep the conversations moving. If there's too many students, it probably wouldn't work as well.
Yeah, no, I think it was really good. And I think our last minute changing it, where you spoke and we did the videos and then some more networking and coming back again, I think actually worked quite well.
Yeah, so I mean, it might be something that we want to consider at a different time in the future, but it'd be worth a board conversation down the line.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, well,
okay,
everybody take
bye,
care.
everybody. Bye, Javier.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.